Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the SSG Talk Show. We've been calling it a podcast for quite some time, and we kept calling it that even though we started doing the interviews. So I'm trying to get adjusted to calling it Talk Show. All right, guys. So, before I jump in the chat with our guest, I want to say thank you for the follows that we've had today. I've tried to get out to everybody. I don't think I missed anybody, but I'm going to tell you what. Molting Bird, he was on point, or she was on point. As soon as I went live, dropped the hype in the chat. Thank you for that. We appreciate the follow there too. Mute Gaming, let's everybody give him a warm welcome if you haven't already to the SSG family. He joined us today, and he's joining us in our podcast or talk show today. I believe Mute Gaming is a friend of our Dragon Your Feet Gaming, also known as Jackie in the Discord, and she sent him a link. All right. I think I said something to everybody except for Chaos Loves You. Just came in. Welcome in. We're going to get started here shortly. So I know there's a bunch of you that are new here. Most of you are family or friends of Argatron, and he has been a member of the SSG for quite some time. Don't get me lying on the the date because we've had so many people come in and out, it's hard to keep up. But Argatron is a big part of SSG, and we glad to have him part of our SSG family. So if you're new here and you don't know much about our family, and we call it that because it has a family vibe. So what we do is we basically give or help new streamers and old streamers if they need help. So first of all, reach their goals as affiliate if that's what they're trying to do. And we're real supportive of each other. With that being said, we're not always in everybody's chat, but all of our SSG members, they will hop into a chat of somebody that they see that's live currently when they're available. I've seen it, so many times. And then our support within, we offer so many ways to have SSG promote for you. The main way would be our website. And so if you haven't checked out our website, you want to look and see what kind of stuff we do. We try to keep up with it daily. We try to make changes daily. Sometimes we get behind. Hashtag and I are currently trying to buy a house, so that's kind of put a damper on things, but we'll get back in shape. But I see you Mute. You're friends with Busta and Vengeful, and I saw Miss Vengeful pop in here, so yeah. But anyways, without further ado, if you have any more questions about SSG and how we work and things like that, you can ask anybody that's a part of the SSG, and they'll give you the rundown. Argatron, of course, is SSG, and Vengeful here is SSG. So if you have any questions, you could ask us or ask anybody that's a part of the SSG. How do you get in and stuff. But like I said, without further ado, I'm going to join the chat with Argatron, and we're gonna get things rolling. So yeah, Argatron is not only our guest of the night, but Argatron is SSG Member of the Month. So at the end of each month, we interview our Member of the Month. So the last Sunday of the month is specially set aside for our member of the month, but you could always sign up to be interviewed on our talk show. So tonight we have Argatron27. He's in the house. Let's give him a round of applause. How are you tonight, Argatron? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yep. Hey, I had you muted. I'm good. How's it going tonight?
Oh, I see. We're already starting this no talking to each other. We're just gonna mute.
Yep. We're just gonna mute you here,
uh, so I've been looking forward to this interview. How are you tonight? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. I worked a little bit yesterday, so I was a little tired today, but I got a good nap in, so we're ready to roll.
Good deal. I've seen you got a lot of friends and family in here. You want to give any shout outs to anybody real quick before we get started?
Sure. Molting Bird, my boy Graham, Shady, that's my boy Clint. We got Chaos Loves Me, that's Matt. Sut, that's my sister Melissa. What else we got here? B Jam, that's my boy Ben. I think that's everyone we got in here right now. My dad will be joining soon. He might be in here. I don't know. He just kind of sneaks in places sometimes.
Ah, gotcha.
That's hard VF. But yeah. Thanks guys for coming on in and joining us here. Should have a good time tonight, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. We always try to have a good time here. I just saw Unspoken Tuttles pop in, and that's always a tongue twister for me. Somebody say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I always want to say turtles, but it is Tuttles. Yeah.
Yeah, I always want to say turtles. Unspoken turtles. All right, so I know you've been in our podcast talk shows before, and I'll try to give you a rundown. I will talk for majority of it and to you. And hashtag is standing by with us tonight. Sometimes we have chocolate starfish pop in, and ironically enough, our video editor Devi is not with us tonight because he is also purchasing a house at the same time. Hashtag and I are purchasing a house, so
'tis the season, I guess.
yes, it is definitely a seller's market, and as they tell us, and so everything is on fire around here. Everything's getting bought up.
Nice.
So, real
Good
quick,
luck.
yeah, thank you. We already put an offer in on the house, and we're waiting. So,
Awesome.
okay, so, real quick, guys, before we start with the interview, if you have any questions for our guest, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be gaming related.
Whoa, careful saying that to my crew.
Yeah,
Guys, keep it clean.
no, this is an 18 and above.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Just be careful what you ask for.
Right. So, there's been some talk shows here that got a little, I might should have left kind of talk. So, so you guys, there is a redemption. If you don't have any points currently, you can still write it. Just help us not skip it. So the reason we do this is because when you redeem points for the highlight my message, we could see it easily throughout the talk show. And so what we do is we have you go ahead and put, like Venge did, and put your questions in, and we will get to those after the interview. Tonight, like I just said, we're not going to have a video this week because of our video editor. But anyway, Argatron cannot answer those. He can read them and prepare his answers, but he cannot answer those until after we are finished with the interview. So, and hashtag and Devi usually handle that part. So, let's get right in here. First of all, I like to ask our guest how they came up with their streaming name.
All right, well, good thing it's 18 plus. So Argatron's actually a name that I've been using for a long time, and it goes back from when I was probably about 17, 18. And so I used to be into psychedelics quite a bit back in the day. And so when you were on a trip per se, you were said to be in Argatron. So that's
Oh.
kind of where that name came from, and it was just a cool word that I don't ever see anywhere. So I started using that. I want to say maybe PS2 days,
Oh. Well,
something like that.
when I read it to myself, it sounds like a transformer that we don't know about yet.
Yeah, I get that a lot. The only other place I've ever heard is in this movie called Role Models with Stifler from American Pie and Paul Rudd. And one of the characters, they do this LARPing, and one of the characters is King Argatron.
Ah, I
So
remember.
that's the only other time I've ever heard that name. And it's just something unique. It was a word that we kind of made up as young, foolish people, and it just kind of stuck. I use it for everything.
I like it. It has like it kind of sticks with you. Like it's not easily confused with anything else.
Yeah, that's kind of why I liked it, because it was very unique.
Yeah, for
It's a
sure.
made-up word, but it sounds like it should be a word,
Right. And I think that's really unique to you in the way that like I think one of the first podcast or first streams I watched of yours was when you ate the hot pepper, and I think that's pretty unique because you and I watched the
That was a
playback.
good one.
You were sweating, and
Oh,
I don't remember.
that was my buddy Molting Bird that sent me that. There was the one chip challenge.
Okay,
And
yeah.
not only did I do the challenge, but I was also attempting to do a create your own emote tutorial. So I was having to think and talk at the same time, and I made it through. I guess I did all right. I didn't start crying or anything, but yeah, it was hot.
Okay, so I think our viewers would like to know how things turned out later. Like,
Oh yeah, no, surprisingly, the exit was not as bad.
it was
I was
not bad. Okay.
I was expecting some brutal finish, but I never got an upset stomach. The like I said, the exit was just fine. It was the
So,
initial 6 minutes before I pounded the, I don't know, about quart of chocolate milk.
oh man. So did your stomach ever like get gargly and rumbly like you were gonna have diarrhea?
Not really. So I was expecting it. I was waiting for it, but it just never happened.
Wow. I was always curious about that. Like, it just doesn't sound good to drink milk on top of something like that. Like, it's just gonna turn and make some kind of nasty buttermilk milkshake shit.
Yeah, see, the idea is you need the fat to cut the heat. See, a lot of people will go to drink water, and all that's doing is spreading around the oil from the heat.
Yeah.
So that's why you need like butter or milk, something like that.
Yeah. That makes sense. I know my dad always told me that um, you can eat bread and that would soak it up. So
Bread's another good one. Yep,
yeah. So did
for sure.
you eat any bread with it? Did that help?
No, if I would have, it probably would have helped. But no, I just drank that chocolate milk, and boy, it was about 5 minutes. I wanted to just bathe in it, but yeah, it was a big jug of chocolate milk. Like a big, I don't know what size it is, quart or something.
So approximately how long from the time you ate the first chip to the last bit of it?
So I went a little over 6 minutes without drinking anything. The challenge is to try to make it 5.
Okay.
So I went 6 minutes without anything, and then once I started that chocolate milk, I'd say maybe another 5-10 minutes, so maybe like 15 minutes total, before I was able to actually function as a human.
So going into this, did your so-called buddy give you any pointers? Did he tell you how it would go?
I think his pointer was "Don't die." That might have been about it. He did it fully on purpose, and he did it for the entertainment value on his end.
Um. So
He did get. I did end up getting a Switch out of the deal though, because he sent me a package and he had a Switch he wasn't using, and he sent that, and he actually sent an HTC Vive 3D unit that he wasn't using anymore. So for eating a hot chip, 15 minutes of absolute suffering, I ended up with a Switch and a 3D unit. So it was worth it. He did tell me to wear gloves. That's true. He did tell me to wear gloves.
Okay.
Which I just put a plastic bag on my hands and used that.
Oh,
but
there you go. So, I've only seen one other SSG member do this, and that was
we can get it at one point. Yeah.
But I have a couple more questions on this subject, and we'll move on.
Yeah, sure.
But and I promised I wasn't going to ask, but I just had to know. So first, would you challenge or recommend this to somebody?
Sure. I don't think it was more scary than what actually happened. Like I was more anxious about it leading up to doing it than as painful as it was or whatever. But yeah, I mean it's fun. I ended up with quite a few viewers on there. I got some some biddies and some subs and whatnot out of it, and it was fun. I mean, if you can handle a little bit of heat, challenge yourself a little bit. It's I like to go out there and do different things. I don't want to be just a Warzone guy, because that's what I normally stream most of the time. But I like to I like to challenge myself and do different things, and I've never done anything like I've eaten hot peppers and stuff before, but I've never tried anything insane like that, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. So
after I got over the initial pain, I felt good about it.
And as a streamer, that's good for you, that you want to be unique, you want to stand out, and you want to be your own self, and you want to challenge yourself. That's really good. I like that about your stream, and you keep it unique. My other question about that was, do you see yourself doing that as another challenge?
I don't know. Maybe somewhere down the road, but I feel like I've been there and done that at this point. Maybe as opposed to the one chip challenge, maybe I would do something like a hot wing challenge where you do like 6 wings, each one gets progressively hotter. Or, I mean, I'm not opposed to doing other spice challenges, but that one in particular, I feel like I checked that one off my list,
Yeah. So, so in the future, where do you see the challenges going? Where do you see challenging yourself? What's next?
Really, I kind of leave that up to my knucklehead friends and viewers. If they suggest something or challenge me to something, I think I would probably go through with it. I don't have anything lined up per se. I think my next sub goal, I think I'm gonna do like a party stream or something along those lines. Try to get some friends over and do something that way.
Well, that sounds.
But yeah. I don't know. I wish they didn't get rid of Twitch Sings, because I like doing that karaoke thing. That was fun. I know me and Supremacy King, we did a joint unit karaoke blast.
Oh yeah.
Party.
Yeah.
But they got rid of that, unfortunately, so we can't do that.
Longboard downhill.
Yeah, that's my buddy Ben. So there's a story. I live on this hill here in upstate New York, and 4th of July, about 3 o'clock in the morning, obviously 100% sober, decided it was a good idea to go in just shorts and Crocs on a skateboard down my hill. I made it about halfway before I ate shit. And oh man, I couldn't even, my hands were so wrecked, I couldn't even hold a glass of water for about 3 days in either hand.
Oh my gosh.
Mind you, I was managing a bar at this time, so that made that really difficult.
Okay, so on a scale, what was worse, the hot chip challenge or longboarding down a hill?
Oh, that longboard down the hill, without a doubt. I mean, I was down for a week at least.
Did you break any bones?
I didn't. No, somehow I did not. So I started getting speed wobbles, and I jumped off and started trying to run to keep up, but I was wearing Crocs, so both my flip-flop, both the Crocs popped off my feet, and I just heat rosed it right into the pavement.
Oh man.
It was brutal. I was shredded. My knees, my toes, my feet, my elbows, my palms, my hands, like my chest.
So was this your friends, or was this you challenging yourself?
Oh, I think we were sitting outside probably having a couple beverages, and somebody rode up on a longboard, and I was like, that looks like a good idea. Let me try. I'm full of good ideas at that time at night, by the way, just so you know.
Oh man. Group stupidity. It sounds like it, Molting Bird. Those are the kind of groups.
Sure.
Yeah, those are the kind of groups I like. Actually.
That's our friends. That's our group of friends. We're not the brightest, but we have the most fun. I dare anyone to have more fun.
Yeah, for real. So on that note, tell me the craziest stunt you've ever done.
The craziest stunt I've ever done? Oh, I don't know. Maybe bombing hills on a skateboard. I've done quite a few pretty gnarly hills. I did this one thing where there was a zip line. Some of my friends have a zip line that drops into this pond, but the pond is only about 3 feet deep, except for this one hole that they dug out deep so that you could drop from the zip line into it. Well, I hadn't ever gone on it before, and I'm somewhat scared of heights, but I like scaring myself a little bit. I like that adrenaline. So I climbed all the way up to this thing. It's probably 90 feet in the air. Reached out and grabbed the zip line, the little T-bar that you have to hold on to, and I went for it, but I didn't really know where the hole was, so I just kind of had to guess. And I guessed sort of right. I hit like the edge of the hole going in, so I like scraped my back up going down.
Oh man!
But if I'd let go about a second earlier, I probably would have gotten paralyzed. That was another one of those hold my beer moments where there's a bunch of people standing around like, hell yeah, I can do that, no problem. I got up there and looked around and went, oh my god, I wish there was some way that I could get out of this without having to do this right now. But I just, fuck it, send it.
Yeah. Wow. So you've gotten banged up and stuff doing all these stunts and things. Have you ever, I know you didn't when you did the longboard down the hill, but have you ever broken any bones doing this stuff?
Not doing that stuff. I've had lots of sprains. I've had sprains where they said you'd probably be better off breaking your ankle than tearing these 3 ligaments. The only broken bone major broken bone was when I was a little kid. I fell off my tricycle. I was about 3 or 4 years old, living in Texas at the time, and fell off my trike, and I didn't even realize, and this is stories told to me, I kind of vaguely remember it just from the pain, but I remember sitting around, and my dad was calling me in for lunch, and I wouldn't come into lunch, and he came and he picked me up by that arm, and I remember that pain. And apparently I had broken my arm and was just sitting there playing with a broken arm for a little while. So I think I've always had that extreme side to me ever since I was a kid, where...
Oh my god, that hurts my stomach.
I was saying hold my beer when I was 3, so...
Oh man. Oh, great times. All right, so we're going to get into a little bit of gaming background here. We've learned a little bit about your near-death experiences, and I would like to know some more about your gaming history. So, how did it all start?
Well, really, it was probably the first Christmas the original Nintendo was out. So we're talking like, what, 88, 89? Something like that, I think. 87, 88. And my dad bought me and my sister the original NES for Christmas. And I remember we had Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and we ended up the original Zelda, the first Zelda. That was like my first fall in love with games. Zelda was always my favorite series. But I remember one of the funniest things was I remember getting it, and me and my sister being mad because my dad was on it all the time. But I got him back because in Duck Hunt, in duck hunt, we used to play duck hunt against each other when we were kids, you know, and or when we were little. And my dad would be going, you know, I'd be going, I'd get, you know, quite a few ducks or whatever. And then he'd go, and he didn't realize, which he didn't know until, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago when I told him, that if you plugged a controller into the second port, you could control the ducks. So I would be like sitting on the controller, like making the ducks go crazy on him. And then when it was my turn, I'd put them all in the corner so I could just like shoot them all. and so I used to beat him all the time with that. And that was always funny. But yeah, Zelda was my first, like, that's the first time I ever broke a controller. Just from raging out on it. I used to have the power pad too when I was a kid. I remember that was always fun. You had like the track and field game where you had to run on it, but we'd always cheat, get on our knees and use your hands just to kind of, you know, pound it instead of running. But yeah, that's probably my first. Although my neighbor did have an Atari, one of the Atari 2600s that we'd go over and play, you know, whatever games, Pitfall and, you know, the tank game and whatnot.
Right. I love Duck Hunt, and it's the game that I miss from my childhood, and we can't play it anymore because you have to have one of those old glass tube TVs, and the gun, we do have a gun. So Hashtag and I had a game store, and we acquired a gun, and we were able to find an older TV and try it, and the gun didn't work. There was something wrong with it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my god.
You're so excited you finally got there, and then it didn't work.
Somebody has to recreate that. They have to.
Yeah. You know, I remember they used to have toys too. They were like airplanes or something that you'd play this movie and you could like shoot things, but I think it was the same thing, like tube TVs and stuff.
Yeah. So growing up, you said you started out with the original NES. Did you venture out and play any other games at like a arcade? Was there anything that stood out to you or that you enjoyed playing?
So I grew up in Texas, like, and when I say Texas, I mean like the, you know, boonies of Texas. So we didn't really have arcades around per se. My arcade was going to my buddy's house who had all the video games, and we would sit there and play all the games at his house. You know, we lived way out in the country, and there really wasn't, you know, it was a 40-minute drive just to go to the grocery store.
Oh wow,
you
that's kind of like where Hash and I live now.
yeah. So arcades really weren't that big of a thing. You know, you had to go to the mall or something like that, which I did on occasion.
Yeah.
When I was a little bit older, my stepfather was building a bunch of putt-putts in the area, like the miniature golf courses. And there was one in particular that he worked at for a summer, and I remember we used to get to go in there and play in the arcade there, and that was always the best. I'd go like, yeah, I'll go to work with you today. Instead of going to work, I'd just go sit in the arcade all day. Because there was one machine, it was the, what was it? I want to say it was like, not X-Men, but the Avengers maybe, because you could play as like Hawkeye and Captain America and Vision. But if you hit it in just the right spot, you'd get free credits. So I would just sit there and play that one all day and just pop it in the right place and it'd give me another credit. So that was kind of my biggest initial arcade experience, I guess, would be doing that.
I haven't had much experience with arcade games, except for like Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, Miss Pac-Man. My dad actually, he worked at this store, like a convenience store, and they sold, you know, a little bit of food and whatnot, but they did have a Miss Pac-Man machine that they had actually turned up the speed, so it was like super fast. and we used to play that, and it had that in Galaga or whatever you want to call it, and so those games, you know, those games I definitely put quite a few quarters into.
Oh man, I love it. I love learning the history of how people got into gaming and what they started out with. And I will not announce my age, but I started off with the Atari playing Pong.
Pong, yeah.
hours and
I mean,
hours and hours.
I've had all the systems. I've had an Intellivision. I've had an Atari. You know, for a while there, when I was in my later teens, I kind of became a little bit of a collector of some of those older. You know, the Intellivision is the one that had the number pad and the little dial.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I definitely got into collecting some of those older style systems. TurboGrafx, remember the TurboGrafx 16 or 64 or I forget what it was, playing Bonk's Adventure, like just these weird ones that not everybody had.
Right, right. Well, I played quite a bit of Oregon Trail myself. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just steery as a bitch. Watch out.
Yeah. It is. Well, all right. The next question I want to get into, because we're moving forward, we've learned about how you started gaming and stuff. Now I want to talk about how you got started streaming.
That's actually a really cool story, and this really goes back to I have always said I have the greatest circle of friends out there anywhere. I put my circle up against anyone. So I was diagnosed with MS in 2018, mid 2018, and I've been on full-time disability since. And so I don't really have a whole lot to do. Now, I play video games all the time, and my friends say that I'm pretty personable, and they like to, we have good chats and whatnot. So they actually all chipped in together and bought me an Elgato capture card and a good headset with a mix amp. And this was for the purpose of me being able to stream from my PlayStation. So I think it was within 2 days of me getting that, I had done a bunch of research and had actually started streaming. That was about a year ago. I actually just looked it up today. I think it was like August 16th or 17th or something like that was my first day where I started streaming consecutively. I had done a couple in the past. I'd be drinking or something, like, oh, what's this share button on the PlayStation, and pop into Twitch, and I had maybe 4 or 5 throughout the year before that, but they got me into it big time. So I started, I figured they put the money in and the resources and the love, so I figured I needed to really try to do something with it. So I started getting into it pretty good, and I made affiliate quick, which I was very fortunate. Like I said, good circle of friends. Everybody helped me out. I got into SSG in that time, and then they got me again. So that October, I think it was, I had been invited to go to this bar to be a guest streamer.
Oh.
It's like a bar, gaming bar, restaurant, family environment also, not just bar. So they invited me to go there, and I went and sat down at the computer, and I was playing with my buddy Molting Bird and a couple other friends online, and Molting Bird lives in Texas, so I was sitting there playing with them and had a bunch of viewers on, and somebody brought me out, the owner of the place brought me out a tray of shots, and he's like, somebody wanted to buy you shots, and I'm like, oh, all right, thanks. And I turned around to cheers everyone. I was like, holy crap, there was 25 people standing behind me all of a sudden. I'm like, man, there's a lot of people here. Like, what the hell's going on? And I'm cheers, everyone. And I hear this real deep voice go, cheers, Aaron. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cheers. He's like, cheers, Aaron. And I look up, and it's my buddy Graham, Molting Bird, who I had just, in my mind, I had just been playing with in Texas. But apparently he was hiding in the back office playing on the computer in the back office of the restaurant bar I was at. Him and his sister had flown up to hang out with me. So I was like, oh man, what a great surprise. You guys came up to watch me be a guest streamer. And they're like, well, that's not all. They're like, my buddy Trevor, they're like, Trevor, why don't you take over here? And he was like, so you see this PC, the monitor, the headset, the mic, the camera, the mouse pad, all this gaming keyboard, so that's all yours.
Oh, wow.
So apparently my friends and everybody, they had a secret Facebook group going with about 40 plus friends of mine where everybody had chipped in and bought me this. I mean, it's like a 92nd percentile gaming rig. And, so, I mean, it absolutely blew me away. And then the owner of the place, he's like, oh yeah, he chipped in a bunch of money, but he was also like, oh yeah, you could pick out one of these chairs to take home. So I got a real nice like Alienware gaming chair from the owner. I didn't know this guy from anything, and it's just, so that kind of stuff has been very humbling, and it is something that has kept me motivated to try to keep going, try to keep growing. I've never been one to care about my number of followers or subs or anything like that. Like, I just want to put out good vibes. I just want to have good streams, have fun with my friends. The desk, my friend Chaos has the dope desk. I've got a desk that was custom built for me to fit into my bay window. That was given to me that same weekend. It's built from one of my friend's father's farmhouses, so it's got all the old school patina on it, and it's like all natural, the wood siding from that. It's all customizable, so I can move the shelves up and down, and so I've been very blessed. I've been very blessed with good friends, and my kids got to be with me there on that day, and it's something that we as a family and my friends, I will never forget that. Like, it was really special. There was one time I was playing games with people that were at that bar, and I thought it was just some of my friends at that bar hanging out playing games with me. But it come to find out that was actually a fundraiser that they were throwing for me. They had my stream up on the bar all over the place, and they were actually doing a fundraiser for me that night.
Oh,
and I had no idea. So they had been lying to me for months. Like I always say, my friends are the greatest assholes you'll ever meet. They lied to me for a good 3 or 4 months. Obviously it's for a good cause, but that's kind of our joke now. Like, dude, fuck you. You guys are all liars.
How many more times are you gonna lie to him?
I know. I told him that's got to be it, but my one buddy, Molting Bird, he keeps drinking too much and telling me that he's got more in store for me. So I don't know. At this point, I sit back and just accept it. They do it because they're great people, and they claim that I'm one of them too. So I just have to sit back and accept it. It's something that I have grown more accustomed to with the disability, is accepting help from others, and it's something that I never was really good at growing up. I was always taught, earn what you get, don't take handouts.
Right.
And it's something, it's something that I've come to realize, that it's less of a handout as one, it's making that person that's doing something nice for you feel good. Exactly. And two, I have to accept the fact that I can't do things the way I used to be able to, and I have to accept help on things.
Right.
So, but it's been good. It's been a good experience for sure.
That is awesome. That is a really awesome story. It takes a really good support system for all kinds of things, not just that and what you went through and what you continue to go through, health-wise. But the way things are today, if you don't have a good support system, it's a horrible world to kind of live in. So gaming,
absolutely.
Yeah, gaming gives us a way to be in an alternate reality of sorts, get away and just focus on something that's not so stressful.
But between I've been through a divorce in the last year and the MS. If it wasn't for my gaming community, which includes the SSG, and I've met a bunch of people that are really, really awesome through SSG, and my other gaming friends, I there's no telling where I would be right now. I definitely fell into really dark days, and we're really good about helping each other out because we're all kind of in the same situation. I mean, life is what life is. We're all having struggles, and by talking to people about their struggles and me being able to talk to people about my struggles, it's very therapeutic, and it really has helped me, and I feel like it's helped a lot of them too, and
Right. Absolutely. That was another thing I was going to mention earlier about SSG, and it's not used a lot, but we do have a channel for mental health support, and I believe mental health is very important overall. I think it affects even your sicknesses that you get, So mental health, taking care of yourself, taking breaks and things like that, even from streaming, because there's going to be good and bad days streaming. It's not all going to be sunshine and roses and things like that. Um, so that brings me to my next question. Um, what would you tell a fellow streamer, newer streamer, um, when they get to that section, when they get to that part of streaming where it's like, oh, I can't do this anymore?
Well, with me, especially with some of with the MS, I don't know how I'm going to feel until that day when I wake up.
Hmm.
And you really you have to take care of yourself first, because if you're under the weather or in a bad mood, that's going to reflect in your stream, and then your viewers are going to see that, and your friends and your family that are there, they're going to stick with you. But the random people you get in are going to be like, man, what's this guy's problem? At least in my mind. So, you really have to allow yourself to have down days.
Hmm.
Appreciate the good ones, and when you're down, you just got to accept it and move on with it. I mean, there's people that are in way worse shape than me out there in the world, and if they can get by and keep living and keep doing what they've got to do, then what's my excuse? So you really
Right.
just gotta deal with the fact that you're gonna have bad days, and know you're gonna have bad days, and know you're gonna stream to one viewer for 5 hours on some days, and then some days you're gonna stream to 10, 15 viewers, and who knows, maybe someday I'll even get bigger than that, and
Right.
so.
That is really awesome advice, and you know, I really stress to people about having a support system, somebody you can rely on to be there, um, mentally, emotionally, a best friend, or somebody you game with, or just somebody that you can open up and talk to, and going into it always seems hard because it's like, oh, I don't want to burden somebody else with my troubles. Um, but there are listening ears everywhere, and it's really important. So,
Yeah, you got to get over that, and that's a stigma. It's a stigma. It's a weakness. And really, looking for help isn't a weakness. I mean, that's a strength. That's something not everybody can do,
right,
and it's vital. It's vital to survive. I don't care if you're a millionaire. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care. You're gonna need help from someone somewhere, and if you can't go out and find it, then you're doing nothing but hurting yourself and those around you.
absolutely, 100%. Um, well, this I've got one more question, and then I'm gonna turn it over to hashtag and let him get with the audience, and see how your friends and family like to try to embarrass you.
Oh, jeez.
Um, all right, so
Any way they can.
one of my other questions I like to ask the guest is, um, like, if you could tell your future self something, what would it be?
Like if I could, from this point, tell myself 20 years from now.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Something in the future.
Um, Probably not to take things so seriously. Don't take things to heart so much. I take a lot of what happens in the world and to my friends. Like I take that personally a little too much. When my friends are hurting, like I really feel that pain when people around the world, and that affects me very negatively. And so I think it would be just to kind of relax, take a deep breath. You're not as important as you think you are. I mean, when it comes to the grand scheme of things, we're insignificant specks in the, grand scheme of the universe. We all have this feeling of self-entitlement and self-worth that, that's not important to believe in yourself and things like that. But sometimes I feel like maybe I put a little too much importance, we'll say that, in that, So I think that would probably be it, just to kind of learn to roll with it a little bit better, which I've gotten better at in the last 4 or 5 years, but just to kind of roll the punches and know that things are gonna probably work out, regardless of the situation. And if they don't, then hey, that's the way it was supposed to happen. Really, accept the things that you can't change.
Exactly. That's key. That is very key. Well, I have enjoyed getting to know a little bit of your history, and that's what we do here in the talk show. We not only, let you talk to your audience, by answering the questions, um, but we SSG get to know you better because, we don't always get to see all of our members. We don't always get to know how you know how their foundation of streaming got started, and I really love the story you told us about your friends and how they stepped up and they did that awesome deed for you. That is awesome. I love to hear stories about people paying it forward. Hashtag and I, we like to, when we see something like that or like see somebody do something like that, then we try to pay it forward as well. So it's good. It's really good feeling, and I'm proud of you. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
that you're a part of SSG.
Yeah,
Um,
I've really enjoyed my time here for sure. You guys are real supportive. I've got it all started like my first is kind of funny. Uh, I was in some maybe Untold Vikings stream, and Supremacy
yeah.
King was in there, and he was looking for someone to battle, and I had never talked to anybody. It was like my first or second day, and so I started fake beef with King, and I'd go into different streams that he was in, and we'd follow each other around and just keep talking trash to each other, all in good fun, and so that was really my introduction, and that let me know that like, hey, I found a home here. People can take a little trash talk and give it back, and still realize we're just having fun, and so it's been a really good community to be part of, and I'm really happy that I found it. I don't even know how I got in it. People have asked me in the past, and I have no idea how I got in it. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did for sure.
Well, if you don't remember, then you most likely found an invite link left by me somewhere, perhaps, because when we first started, it was only hashtag myself, Slice, and Chalk was there. And then
Yeah.
we kind of just gathered people in, and then we went from there. So SSG has had ups and downs, ups and downs. Just like people by themselves, they have ups and downs with their streaming and stuff. We all have real lives, and that's what we all have to remember. Um, we are a supportive community, but we all also are humans, and so we are all going to go up and down. But one thing that has remained true about SSG is that we're still there. We're
Yeah.
still there. We haven't given up. We haven't thrown in the towel. We try to support our members as much as we can, mentally, emotionally. If they have a question. Um, so yeah, you most likely came across a link somewhere because I was leaving those links all over the place in the beginning. One here, one there. And if not, maybe somebody invited you in because in the beginning we weren't as private. We were letting people bring people in. So, um,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't remember. I just I'm glad I did find you guys, and it's been good. So I've met a lot of good, Hangry Pirate and Mermaid and you and Italian Slice and King and Viking and I mean I go on. There's a ton of people,
yeah,
that are
yeah.
good. They've been
Um,
good people. Good
we
people to have met.
actually, one of the last times hashtag streamed, lo and behold, Viking showed up, and we chatted for about 5 or 10 minutes. So it was good hearing from him.
Yeah, I
He
hadn't seen him in a while. Yeah.
Well, we got an update. He had to stop streaming, so um,
Okay.
yeah. So he hopes to, um, come back eventually. But that may have also been where you got in at, because
Uh,
Viking.
mul-
Yes.
Molting Bird says he thinks it was through Robin, but no, Molting Bird. I actually got Little Red Robin in here, I don't know, maybe a month ago during one of the podcasts. I got her, Redneckian, and the Baconator. I got them in with the podcast invites.
Yeah, and right now we're open. So we are completely open. Actually, Argatron is welcome to grab a link anytime he wants to and send it out. Yep. We are open. We're open to anybody, non-streamers, streamers, supporters. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I see you started doing YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that too, because it was just Twitch for a while, I think, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. So we're still growing. We're learning as we go, and yeah, that's that. We do this talk show for anybody that signs up. Now our calendar is like way out until July. Like we've got so many people signed up. But if you happen to make member of the month, then you get your own special spot at the end of the month on Sunday. And so we really enjoyed having Argatron. He was voted in by our members. This is not chosen specifically by admin. This is voted in by our members. So we appreciate our members for nominating and selecting Argatron for our member of the month.
Sure. For sure. It's been a fun ride, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's exciting. And then we do have a streamer of the week that we do. Thank you, Hash. We have a streamer of the week that we do, and those people are selected by the admin and owners because we kind of just sit back and watch our members and see who's active, who helps who, who's been supportive and things like that. So those are selected strictly by admin and owners. But our member of the month is always welcomed and voted in by our members. So, and actually today is the 30th. So if you're SSG and you're in here, if you have
I got my vote in.
Yes, if you have not voted, please go vote. All right, so enough boring shit. Let's get to the questions. Hashtag, how you feeling?
Well, feeling pretty good. I'm liking these questions. Vengeful's coming in hot and heavy.
I know, I see that.
Bam, bam. Well, you can see what I see. Venge coming out with when you gonna start an OnlyFans?
Oh, who says I don't already have one?
Boom, Venge. There you go.
So what is your OnlyFans about?
It's not. I don't have an OnlyFans.
Damn it, Biscuit.
I figured I would spare the world of my OnlyFans. You guys already have to look at me on my stream. That's about enough.
What about like your big toe? Like you could just do OnlyFans of your big toe.
Yeah. That would be drop the link. He says. Yeah. I don't know. OnlyFans isn't for me. I don't know. I'll stick to the Twitch.
There you go. Venge coming back in with the pineapple on pizza.
Yes, pineapple on pizza.
Now go ahead. What you were gonna say?
Absolutely. I don't even remember. It's all right. I get distracted by shiny things very easily. So
go back up. You missed one. It's not highlighted. Hop back up real quick.
How does it feel not being your favorite child?
Oh, that's my sister. Yeah, she only says that because she knows I'm the favorite.
So, I mean, who decides?
I do.
There you go. That's the only way to do it.
That's it.
Well,
that's it.
What do you think makes you the favorite child?
I'm older. I was the first, that first love. You'll never get over that first love, so. Other than that, she got me beat in most other categories, but I take the big one, so,
You were here longer, damn it.
That's right.
Yeah, I've got more time in. Leave me alone.
That's right. First come, first serve here. See, she still says she's the favorite.
Let's see. Venge saying, if you had one superpower, what would it be?
Yeah, I would say invisibility, but that's a little too pervy, maybe. So I would have to go with flight.
Yeah. I
think being able to just fly, or I'm a big nerd, So I love Dragon Ball Z. I love anime. Instant transmission. I mean, I have tried to, which is like teleportation, basically. I've tried to teleport myself. I can't tell you how many times in real life, and it just doesn't work. but I'll keep trying. One of these days, I'm gonna figure it out.
Beam me up, Scotty.
That's it.
Let's see, Shady Amoeba. Any games you want to stream that you haven't?
I don't know. I used to be really big into Madden.
Right.
So maybe Madden, but I haven't played it in so many years. I tried to play, and I got my 11-year-old son whipping my ass in it. So I don't know how good it would go, but yeah, maybe some kind of sports titles, because I do a lot of horror. I do a lot of like suspense games. Right. I do first-person shooters, mostly Warzone for that. But we just started doing Valheim. I never thought I'd like survival style games, and right. I think in the first 5 days we put about 45 hours in.
Ooh.
So I mean, we definitely, that was something I didn't think I would enjoy, but I did. I don't stream it as much because those kind of games, there's a lot of, like, how much do people want to watch me go chop wood for 2 hours?
Right. I got
you. So I don't know how much action there is, so I try to be aware of that stuff when I'm streaming.
Right.
Like what I like to watch this stream, basically,
Oh yeah, totally. It's totally. I totally get that for sure. I had something and then I forgot. Damn it! If I remember it, I'll come back to it at the end. Venge again. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
Wait a minute. Before we move on, I've got to say this. You guys, he blames every fucking thing on me. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter who's talking, who said it. It doesn't matter who we're interviewing. If something happens,
I'm about to server mute you if you don't stop.
There it is.
It's damn it, Biscuits. Damn it.
Yeah. Just rolls off the tongue so nice,
Yeah, damn it, Biscuits. All right.
You good, Biscuits? You get it all out?
I might have some more dough later.
Okay. Show that bitch up. Vengeful again with the biggest gun you ever used.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I shot a 45 once when I was younger. My most memorable one was a 12 gauge. I was probably about 10 or 11. We were out at this ranch in Texas, some of my dad's friends, and they had this garage. On top of the garage, they had one of the, I don't know what it's called, where you pull the little discs that go flying out.
Oh yeah.
So I was watching my dad and his friends, shoot skeet. That's what. Yeah. So they were shooting skeet, and my dad and his buddy, they're like, "Oh, you want to try?" I'm like, "Of course I want to try. I'm a kid. Let me see that gun." So I stood up there and completely flat-footed, feet almost together, shotgun not on my shoulder, and said pull, and pulled the trigger, and it literally threw me back a good 5 feet onto this bench and just destroyed my shoulder. And my dad and his buddies were just up there laughing at me. Like, they knew what was coming. Nobody warned me. Nobody said anything. It was one of those life lessons. I was like, all right, you want to play with the big boys? Here you go.
Yeah.
It's probably gauge 45, one of those. Those are probably the biggest, hardest hitting guns I've fired.
Yeah, for sure. Especially at that kind of age. That was about the time I shot my first shotgun, and I said, "Okay, this ain't for me. I'm done."
Yeah, give me a 22. I was lethal with a 22 back then, So I figured a shotgun's just a little bit bigger 22, and boy, I was in for a shock.
You were talking about Madden, and that made me think of you remember NBA Jam? That was on the Sega and Super NES.
Yeah,
and then. Yeah, he's on fire.
Oh,
and then that made me think of NFL Blitz that was on the 64.
Yep. And there was an even older one that was Mutant League Football for the Sega.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that one or not, but you played like as mutants, sorta, and when you'd tackle them, like their bodies would explode, and that was another one of those like wild. But yeah, I liked FIFA Street. I liked NFL Street. Those were fun games. NBA Street. I liked all those games. I was real big into sport games for a long time.
Yeah, I was too. Non-stop, man. You couldn't get me off Blitz or King Griffey Jr. Home Run Derby.
There you go.
Was just eating it up.
I remember the old school Nintendo. There was a John Elway football that. If you double tapped in one direction, you got like super speed.
Oh yeah.
Like be playing against my friends, and I would just like run circles for the whole quarter and then go score a touchdown. Just rinse and repeat.
That's right.
Tecmo Bowl, I will challenge anybody to this day in Tecmo Bowl, and good luck, because I wreck with that original Tecmo Bowl on the NES.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Molten Bird's coming in with the how much do you hate me for that chip?
Oh, I tell him every day I hate his guts. No, he's one of my best friends, and you know I'm very thankful for everything that he does for me. I'll just never tell him that.
Uh-oh. Don't be listening, Multi-Bird.
Yeah, he's in.
Alright, let's go on down. We got another one from Molten Bird. Why are you so bad at Warzone?
Oh, jeez, because I play with you.
Woo!
Yeah, no, you know, and honestly, you want an honest answer? So, the longer I play games, the more my eyes get worn out, the more I get my double vision from the MS. So there is actually a real reason, because sometimes I'll shoot at the wrong one. You know, like I say all the time, like, oh, shot the wrong one, because I shot, 3 inches to the right where there wasn't really a person there. You know, but no, honestly, I mean, I'm 42 years old. Those twitch reflexes and stuff like that, they aren't what they used to be. But I hold my own. We do all right. I still tell them, let's pull up that win count and see where we stand, Molting Bird, because I'm still on top of that list. Actually, our buddy Trevor, who also was very instrumental in my whole PC streaming setup, he's actually got one more than me now. So after we get off, I might have to grind and see if I can't go get a win just to tie him up.
There you go. Challenge accepted. We're gonna keep it.
That's right.
Let's see. We got Mute asking, how you been? What's going on?
Well, I've been good. I actually just started my first job in almost 3 years. Last Wednesday, I worked a couple hours. Saturday, I worked like 4.5. With my disability insurance and all that other stuff, I keep it around 5 to 10 hours a week without having to totally rework all my insurance and everything. One of my buddies owns a coin and collectible shop where they sell magic cards and Pokemon and coins, silver, bullion, things like that. So I've started working there, and it's been fun. Yesterday was Saturday. Yeah, yesterday I did 4.5 hours, and I was in bed most of the day today from it, but it feels good because I'm in bed because I actually did something, not just because I'm, feeling lousy or whatever, so.
Well, you know where to go if you want to get some Pokemon cards. Go hit up Argatron.
That's it. Magic, Pokemon, we got them.
Heck yeah. Vince coming in. What is the one game you won't stream?
Oh, the one game I won't stream. I don't know that there necessarily is one, but games where there's lots of reading, lots of downtime, like Valheim, like what was it, a Genshin Impact or something? I think.
Yep.
Like, especially in the beginning, there's so much world building, so you end up with like 5 pages of this book, this story to read. And it's not that I don't do it because I don't think they're enjoyable games, because I do. I don't think they'd be enjoyable to watch. Who wants to sit there and watch somebody reading something for, I mean, I guess there are probably people out there that would, but that's not really my cup of tea. So any of those real downtime style games, real slow style games, I think I'll probably steer away from.
Gotcha.
But you might have the voice that helps people sleep.
This is true, and I have a couple friends that'll put me on, right before they go to bed or whatever, and just leave me tabbed while they go to sleep. And I always joke around, it's like, oh, it's just my velvet pipes, you like to listen to that while I'm going to sleep,
Oh god.
Well, you got right
let's-
here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it. That's
Boom.
it. You want me to read you a bedtime story? Just hit me up. You know, maybe I'll make that one of my channel points.
Bedtime story with Argatron27.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. Multibird says, when are we ever getting a dub again?
Probably not, but we sure won't stop trying.
There you go.
I feel like our lobbies are sweaty. So,
God. Me and Biscuit's the same way. Feel the same way with Apex.
yeah, I used to play Apex a lot, and I fell out of it, and I'm one of those guys where I like to focus on one game. Like I did all Fortnite for a while, then I switched into Apex until about season 5, and then I went back to Fortnite for a little bit, and then I found Warzone, and I've kind of just been Warzone since then.
Gotcha.
But I always flirt with the idea of Apex. I have it downloaded again, and I just haven't pulled the trigger and actually played it.
Right. It's different. This new season is, I don't know, man. It's turned a lot of things upside down, and this new character and the arenas thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
definitely changed it
a
up.
few of you guys actually playing it, and yeah, it does look a lot different. You know, it would be it'd be like I'd be starting over almost again.
Yeah.
You know, but it was fun. It was a fun game for sure.
Yeah.
I usually play what my friends are playing because that's why I play. I don't leave my house very often. My socialization and getting to hang out with adults, you know, happens in game. So,
Right.
Whatever
Yeah,
they're, you know, if I had 5 friends that all of a sudden they're like, yo, we're playing Apex now, I'd be playing Apex, I'm sure.
Right. Totally agree with that. Totally. I get where you're coming from on that for sure. Miss Vengeful asked where Debbie is, and to give you an update, he bought a house recently, and he is doing his big move this weekend. So we don't have a SSG compilation video like we normally do, and he's doing that. He's getting settled into his new house, getting some stuff moved, and he'll be back with us. Should be next week, but he might